afternoon. My name is Marla Johnson. I'm the Vice President of TWU Local 514, and I'm here today with George Albano.
Hello.
He is our Executive Board at Large. We're here to discuss some issues that have been coming off the floor, um, quite a few actually, for the last few months. But one in particular is member-on-member violations. So we have members, instead of going to their union steward or their executive steward, or even myself, I'm always available if you have an issue with another member, please contact your steward in your area and let them know what's going on. And they'll go and approach either your crew chief or the person that you're having the issue with and try to resolve that situation. We don't want people going straight to HR. And the reason being, when you go to HR, they're going to not only look at, for instance, George, if I have a problem with George, they're also going to look at myself. And they're going to say, okay, Marla, what's been going on and what have you done to create even for this situation to worsen? So in the end, when I'm pointing my finger here at George,
Yes,
they might come back and point the finger at me. So
absolutely.
we all have to work together. We don't have to like each other, but we do have to work together. So just remember that, and please give us the opportunity to try to resolve those issues between your coworkers.
And if you do get called to HR, please take a union rep, whether it's a shop steward or an e-board member.
Absolutely. A lot of times we have members, and this is going to come up in the next topic, which George is going to go over, is alcohol and drug random testing. Please make sure you bring a union representative with you. Go ahead, George.
All right, so we've had a lot of issues here lately with alcohol abuse, people getting flagged for it, whether it's random or justified. Please take a rep with you. The legal limits for the FAA are .04. However, company policy is .02. So if you blow over that .02, you are going to be removed for duty. So just a little FYI and also a little background information on it. Your body can only process .01 blood alcohol content an hour. So, I mean, if you're drinking even a couple at nighttime, you could still be over the legal limit in the morning for the company policy.
Yeah, so what's happening is people are just having a casual drink, maybe with dinner even, but then when they come to work first thing in the morning at
Right.
6 a.m., they're getting sent over for a random drug test and breathalyzer test, and it hasn't quite cleared their system. So just be wary of that.
Right.
Okay. Another thing we want to talk about are grievances. So we have, I reported out in the membership meeting last week, we have worked over 5,000 grievances in the last few years, 5 years to be exact. So we go through a lot of grievances. So when you file a grievance, we want to know what happened. We want to have the documentation as to what happened. And we want to know why it's a contract violation. That's what the company's going to require us to prove. So when you go to your union rep, you need to have all that information ready and available to put with that grievance. We have had situations where there are questions and we go ahead and file a grievance until we can ensure that we're giving you the right answer. But typically it's our officers will let you know whether it's a good or valid grievance.
Right.
So when we tell you that it is not a valid grievance, we have looked into it, we have researched it, we've even communicated with other locals and members of the association. So it's a thorough investigation that we take seriously. And just know that, and I say this to my stewards, and I'm going to say it again, we file grievances on contract violations only. We do not file grievances on hurt feelings. And I know people don't like to hear that, but that is what a grievance is. It's a contract violation. So just help work with us to prove your point that you were violated, and we will do our best to get that resolved. Do you have
And
anything to add?
yeah, one thing that I had a phone call the other day, and a member called and said he was bypassed over the weekend. So I started looking into it. He sent me his overtime sign up. But actually, when I pulled it up, he wasn't even on the overtime report. And when he sent it to me, his overtime sign up, he mistakenly signed up for a field trip and not overtime. So therefore, no grievance. He wasn't bypassed.
It's a great example. I like that. Thank you, George. Do you want to go ahead and we're talking about retirement, so there's been a lot of
Yes.
retirement issues. George is going to speak on that.
We on the 514 website, we came up, a bunch of us got together and we made a retirement flow chart. And there's two charts, one pre 2011 if you were hired on before 2011 and post 2011. And they are posted on the front of our page, and it's just kind of do this, do this. There's a bunch of flow information on there on what you should do. 5 years out, 3 years out. Just take a look at it. It's very informative.
Okay, thank you. And we are working with Fidelity to try to streamline that a little better for people getting ready to retire. So
Yeah.
just know that we're still working on the little
There's some
pinpoints.
a few hiccups,
Right.
but we're trying to work things out to where you can go to the local office.
Okay, and the last thing we have today is January was steward election month. So we've had quite a few new interest in our stewards, which I am so excited about. Um, so anyone who is interested in being a steward, please continue to come to meetings. The bylaws state that you must have attended 3 membership meetings within the last 12 months. So our next membership meeting is February 24th
Hmm.
on a Monday, this time, 7:15, 11:45, and 3:45. But this coming Monday, on February 10th, we will be having a steward meeting. So anyone who has signed up to be a steward, you will be getting your email this week letting you know the status, whether you were eligible or ineligible to become a steward. And then if you were ineligible, like I said, continue to come to these meetings. We have a lot of need in a lot of different areas, and we want more involvement, not less. So I'm excited to see we do have a few new faces. So we'll be putting that information out and we'll be updating the stewards. So on your TWU514.org, you can go in and you can see who your stewards are in your area. So that will be updated shortly. And so you can see who to go to. But if you are interested and you haven't quite yet got your meetings in, please join us Monday. This time slots are the same. It's 7:15, 11:45, and 3:45. Thank you.
One more thing I'd like to comment on. FMLA has changed. February 1st, the LTAs called me and it came out in a little jet wire. It's not a lot of information. It just says team members who submit a request for an intermittent leave of absence under the FMLA Act on or after February 1st, you will need to recertify your leave every 6 months instead of 1 year. So be aware of that. I think that's it.
All right. Thank you, George.
You're welcome.
And thank you all.